All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for a Spin That Shit podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. We're on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. We need all the support we can get. But today we are going to be speaking with Sterling Drake. He's down in Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, working on a new album, and he just dropped a new song called Living Alone. So we're going to be talking to him about that and as well as some other stuff about music. So sit tight for that, and thank you for all the support so far. We are growing the channel slowly but surely, and it's been a lot of fun and, just having a good time with it. So let's dive into that.
All right, let's kick it off. We typically do that with roll that beautiful bean footage. So let's go.
Let's do it. Thanks for joining us, Sterling.
Thank you guys for having me.
So where are you at right now?
Well, I'm in Music City, Tennessee, Nashville. Been here for a little bit. Spent some time back home with my parents up on their farm during all this quarantine madness. But I've been in town here for a couple weeks now, just getting, trying to get back in the swing of things and stay busy. And there's only so many days I could spend back up there. So I'm back in town now. Just trying to stay busy with music and keep going.
Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Florida, southern Florida, the whole Collier County, Dade County area. My family had a ranch in the Big Cypress, which is the West Everglades area, just west of there. But I was born in the Miami area, but kind of back and forth. My family had a townhouse in Miami, and that was kind of our little area. But my family now has moved up to the Northeast, actually, in New Jersey, where they live on about 100 acres up there. And it's a nice little spot, kind of Amish country, Pennsylvania area. So it's a cool little spot to be. A lot of people don't know too much about it, but.
Yeah, I follow you on Instagram, so I see it looks like a nice, quiet area.
Yeah, man, there's not a stoplight in town. I mean, it's a whole unincorporated area of New Jersey. It's right there on the Delaware River. Cool spot. It's like horse country out there. A lot of like horse ranches. When I was back home, I got to spend time boarding a couple horses and helping Dad with crops and such. But yeah, it's a good area, man. Little secret in the Northeast people don't know too much about. But yeah, I get this. This like I'm a mutt almost. I'm a southerner in the north and a northerner in the south. And I'm kind of geographically ambiguous. I'm in Tennessee now, so.
Yep.
Yeah. You got a good mix going for you.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
So, you've been at it for a while, but you just dropped this new single. Is this your very first single that's actually like been recorded and out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been doing music for a long time. I originally started in play all sorts of genres. I got really introduced to live music and playing through like the hardcore punk scene, believe it or not. And I was in high school. That was kind of the thing for me. I still love that music, but it was like my introduction. Country music was always around. It's kind of like a family thing. My dad taught me how to play guitar a little bit through all that stuff, and granddad and whatever, but didn't really see in high school, it was just all about what was cool and edgy. So, but I got into punk and hardcore and, anything that anybody of our age would get into in this day and age, and started touring then. But I've been here in Nashville for only about a year and a half, and doing the writer thing. I've been in licensing, kind of putting my foot in that door. So I was working for a company out of Los Angeles doing that, and that kind of gave me the reason to move on out here and try and take a stab at doing my own career. So this would be my first single that I've released and recorded.
So it's Living Alone. So it sounds like it's kind of true to life. You mentioned leaving your job and music's the only thing now. So is that pretty accurate?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's funny. I didn't really come you know, I always wanted to be involved in music and doing songwriter thing, but I didn't really think being an artist would be my pursuit. But it kind of just wrote itself. I moved here, you know, kind of left home and had the whole bad breakup deal, and it was like getting hit in the face moving here. I was back home working. I was managing the farm that my parents are at, and doing that for a long time. And then I was a foreman for a tree company, and just like working. And then I was like, I don't know, ought to try a hand at like doing something. So just like it's all about that move coming here and like the nightlife in Nashville, and then all of a sudden you come from this like rigid structure of living in the country to now living every night in the city, and it just tears at you. But there's good and bad in it, and it's kind of gave me this pursuit for doing the artistry thing. So the first record is kind of a lot about, you know, heartbreak and just this new world, man, that I'm living in here. Yeah, honky tonk, man, that's the lifestyle.
It's true. Well, when I heard it, I knew, I was like, this has got to be real, because I've hung out with you before and got to know you a little bit, and
Yeah,
I think that's why we connected, because we did both have that background in hardcore music and, you know, heavy stuff.
Yeah,
But
I think we met through, if I'm not mistaken, I think Sierra Farrell was our mutual friend. You were in town or something, and man, we must have gotten together. I just rolled up at the Legion, and it was one of those nights where it was like not very promoted. It must have been like a weekend or something. There was just a handful of people in there, and that's how I met you. And so yeah, this dude's cool. He knows that hardcore stuff too.
yeah,
There's
man,
a common denominator, man. I think a lot of us.
yeah. So like you said, this is kind of your first jump start at as far as being out there on a solo deal and being seen on your own, but you've been putting in the groundwork to you know, really pursue it and take it seriously, and I think it's showing so far from what I can see. And so keep that up. You play drums too, right? I mean, how many instruments do you actually play?
Well, it's a relative question. How many can I play good is the real answer. But I don't know. So, I play drums, play guitar, and played bass, and played lead guitar and all that too. But kind of the basic stuff, but the utility instruments, I guess. But I've been doing, you know, doing the artisting in town for a while too, and drums was another like accidental pursuit of mine. I played drums as my first instrument, and I played in a bunch of hardcore bands in the Northeast doing that. And so coming here, I just met some guys that were just like me and you, that were kind of this like, you know, had a little bit of their foot in both worlds. And a fellow that I knew my old band, and he knew I was a drummer. And he's like, you need to drum for me. And ever since that night that I played that one show, it kind of became like another avenue, you know, financial avenue in music for me to stay afloat doing it here. So between licensing and drumming, and then I started performing. I have a residency at Acme Feed and Seed on Broadway. I'll play, I mean, you know, especially last summer, I was, you know, playing most of the week, at least 4 nights a week, doing that, and plus my pursuits touring as a drummer. So, you know, that was kind of just whatever I could do to stay doing music, you know, keep busy in that world.
Acme is Alan Jackson's joint, is that right?
No, that is, I believe that's Rippy's. I really should, you know, it's funny, a lot of people refer to that section of Broadway as like the other side of the street. And I couldn't tell you, I believe it's Rippy's, but Acme, believe it or not, is at the very end of Broadway, right on the water on the right-hand side.
Yeah, right off the river there. Yeah.
Oh, it's like 4 stories, and you can kind of see it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it used to be an old like cattle feed store and like ag store back in the day. I love that spot. It's one of the new spots. I think it's kind of indicative of like the community that's going on now. I mean, you have like Roberts and Layla's and all the old spots that have been there that are, you know, kind of like staples in Nashville, old Nashville. But Acme is a good, and I use the word neo-traditional a lot with this kind of new scene happening, where it's like old but also contemporary. You know, it's got the ethics and etiquette of the old style, but it's new and refreshing. I think they do that almost as a business. Like they do a good job at like just, you know, displaying the country music history in town, and also bringing it into 2020. So they do a good job of that. That's been a really cool family to have. It's kept me busy enough to pay a band, and now stepping away from drumming and just kind of, I have, when this all opens back up again, I'm gonna have a residency there, playing Friday nights at Acme. So
Awesome.
if we're in town in Nashville, and I'm not on the road, I'll be there.
We'll be down, won't we, Garrett?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We'll come down.
yeah.
You mind playing one for us, or you want to play "Living Alone" for us?
Oh man, I could play. I'll play whatever you want. I've actually been working up some new stuff in the studio. I just recorded yesterday. That was yesterday. Feels like a long time ago, but I at my buddy Mark Thornton's place. If you don't mind, I could play you something new that I just started working on.
Anything works, man. I like
Yeah.
hearing the original content, especially since you wrote it. I like it when the artist does their own thing and their own lyrics. More so.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So I just recorded a couple songs in the studio with Mark Thornton, good buddy Tommy White on pedal steel. He's the resident player at the Grand Ole Opry. He's a Hall of Famer. It's unbelievable. Dennis Crouch on bass. He was a member of the Time Jumpers. He's a real deal bass player. And my girlfriend Mary Meyer on fiddle, and Chris Weisbecker on drums, who's my right hand. So it's gonna be really cool. I'm excited to put that out as soon as we get this album out of the way. We're already thinking in the future, but this is, I guess, one of the songs off of that little EP we're gonna do.
okay, nice.
It's called Roll the Dice. Roll the dice on me. Lay your hand on me. Play the card, show me who you are, and roll the dice on me. I know I've left you so long, but only to be back. Two hearts can leave each other alone, but only to stay alone. Roll the dice on me. Lay your hand on me. Play your card, show me who you are, and roll the dice on me. Roll the dice on me. Lay your hand on me. Play your card, show me who you are, and roll the dice on me. Play your card, show me who you are, and roll the dice on me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Even
Thank
through
you,
a cell phone, even through a cell phone audio, I could, get into it.
Good. Yeah, I hope you can. Yeah. Yeah.
Mine has
There
a
with my cell phone microphone here. Next time I'll get a real mic set up.
yeah,
Hey,
little,
I'm on my cell phone too. Doesn't matter.
little bit of a country crooner vibe, I think.
Wow, I'm glad you said that. That's kind of the old Willie style and all that has been a big influence on me too. So that's exactly the vibe we're trying to go for, I guess.
Okay, I want to talk about Willie. So I think I saw a video of you doing Time of the Preacher.
Yeah.
Great concept albums of all time, Redheaded Stranger. Maybe Marty Robbins had another great one. So who are you, kind of looking back to?
Man, yeah, I mean, you're pretty much hitting the nail on the head. It ranges, but I would say Redheaded Stranger is one of my favorite, Western concept records. I mean, it's amazing just what they did, and at that time how unique that was. How out of the box it was to just do this little concept record and put that out on mainstream country radio. It's just that was a big deal. That's a great record. I love Marty Robbins is one of my favorite of all times. All those westerns he did, and I think a lot of it stems a little further back. I'm a big Bob Wills fan. I say Bob Wills is one of my favorite, just like pieces of country music history, like what he was able to put together in Texas and Oklahoma in that time. And Ernest Tubb being a Nashville, figure, obviously being from Texas, but him being here and what he's done to establish Nashville's country scene is kind of the reason why I came here. It will probably, just growing up hearing about him and the institutions he's been a part of, whether it's the new Opry or all the stuff down there in Music Valley and all those things he's put together. He's a big influence on me. There's a couple of the old Texas troubadours still around in town, and it's been amazing to just play with those guys and just consider them friends. And it's like meeting the last bit of remnants of that old school, old Nashville scene has been the reason why I'm here, as opposed to somewhere like Texas. But yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Wow. So you're working on this album. How many songs are we gonna have on it?
So I have a record. This latest record is going to be called "Living Alone," and "Living Alone" is the self-titled off that. More information by next week, but the idea is to drop it in early July. We're looking at 4 or 5 songs.
Oh, man. So that's pretty quick.
Yeah. I've been sitting on this record for a little too long. We had a lot of plans to drop it, and then this whole quarantine stuff came about, and then just with everything going on, it just didn't seem like the right time to be putting out music. I should technically be in Austin, Texas. I guess today or one of these days. I had a run from North Carolina playing the Double Crown and all the way down into Texas and back into Nashville. But with everything going on, that's been set aside, and it's been an interesting thing for all writers. I mean, for the whole world, but in the music world, I can really speak for.
Definitely
it's
for
been
me.
interesting. Yeah, and it impacts things that you don't necessarily think about. Like I've been working as a writer downtown, and as soon as like all this stuff hit, like Music Row, every writer's room was closed because of insurance purposes. So that's the thing. And then we were going to do like a premiere with a kind of reputable website, but they've had to scale back, so they couldn't do premieres because they've had to furlough, I guess, some of their employees. And so I just figured we'll make the best of it and word of mouth and just see how it goes. And I'm just ready to get this out there so we can keep working on the next thing. So yeah, we're hoping to get an EP out called "Living Alone" by early July. So I've got a new single I'll be dropping. That's a cover of one of my idols that I'll be releasing next week, and some more content, video content for all that too.
Can you spill the beans on that? Can we find who's the cover?
Well, I bet if anybody knows me or has been here in town, they probably know that I'm a big Marty Robbins fan. So I'll just say it's Marty Robbins singing. But we just had to record. I had been working up a lot of that stuff with my band around the time we recorded this record, and we just got in the studio and just laid it down. Nate Leith I believe you know Nate Leith. He's a fiddle player for Sierra. He's a good friend. He's featured on that song playing fiddle, and Tommy White again on pedal steel. Yeah, they did a great job at it. So yeah, awesome. That's all I'll give you for now. But you'll see next week.
Yeah, I'll be waiting. That's great.
Paint a picture of what Broadway is like right now, because I'm curious. I mean, is it starting to open back up, or what's been?
Man, I actually haven't been down there, but from what I've seen, the Cowpokes I think just played it looked like it might have been their first live show as a band on Broadway, just like a couple hours ago. And they're still doing it's funny. It's like they're living in a weird pseudo world. They're like doing the live stream, talking to the camera, and there are also people in the room now. So it's like a weird thing. Acme has not. They've been pretty conservative as far as like their start date again. So they were talking about can't really speak for them, but they're thinking just as of right now, July, they're going to open up. But everything else is starting to open up again. Roberts is doing it looks like, and Layla's is going strong, I guess. And so yeah, that's doing good. The Legion, the American Legion Post 82 is right down the road from my house, and they're starting to get things going again. That's been really cool. And they've had a bit of change of management there, and a lot of younger veterans are getting involved now. I'm really excited for when things do open up, what they're going to be able to do. They're going to be a lot more engaged with the community and a lot more unique shows. So yeah, when you're back in town, when everything opens back up, come down to the Legion again. They'll have something.
Yeah,
cool.
we definitely enjoy the Legion. It's a good time every time.
Yeah, they've got a cool. I mean, they do the turkey shoot. You can shoot guns there in the fall. We're hoping to maybe extend that and do some car shows and just kind of bring in the whole community. And I'm excited to see what Andrew and all those guys over at the Legion can come up with.
And best two-stepping lessons in the country, maybe.
In Nashville for sure. Laura Maysox, that's her name. She's excellent. Hope she's doing all right. I haven't seen her in a minute. Her and Leo, but yeah, she has lessons down there. I always say a lot of people who come from Texas or maybe Louisiana or whatever. Nashville they're not accustomed to dancing in Nashville, but we make do with what we can. We don't have the big dance halls that Texas has, and so we got to dance around, tables and pool tables and all that stuff.
That's true.
Hey, she taught me and Garrett how to dance.
Yeah, I had some lady from London, and I think last time Justin was paired up from some woman from Belgium. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
from
that's
Belgium.
about right.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, the Legion's it's like the international country music hub here in town. There's a lot of amazing people that are very passionate about the American culture and American music that come from all over that just land right there in that little building. And Maria Malone was actually Brendan Malone is the bass player and one of the guys involved with Honky Tonk Tuesday Nights. One of the founders of the Cowpokes. His wife Maria, she's moved here, and that's cool, man. You meet all these amazing people from all over the world that come here, and they're just I love how this community can be all accepting to all that, and there's a lot to contribute.
Yeah, it's definitely a great feel. We here in Indianapolis, we don't quite have that, but we got little spots that we like to hang.
Yeah, you have Duke's Indies. I went in there. I went in there with my girlfriend on the way through town a while back. I have yet to play there. I had some dates we're looking at, but they're booked really far out, and all this happened. So hopefully it'll get there soon, man.
Yeah, hit me up when you do, for sure.
I definitely will. Yeah.
You got another one you can play for us, or?
Yeah, I can play. Yeah, sure. Let's see. All right, I'll play you. This is a song. It'll be on that record. This one, you won't have to wait as long, maybe, for as that last one. But,
Nice.
The song's called "All I Need." You there, the edge of the bar. I know what brought you here. I know she broke. Worn out. You're just like me. You've been down so long, so damn long. Yes, my friend, this is the place for us. Far away from the ones we love. We've got paid price and neon lights. and crazy arms to hold me tight. We've got all we need just to let her be. Are you just like me? And I'm hurting some. I'm too damn broke to be with anyone. I felt lost a time or two, but it don't add up to what she put me through. Yes, my friend, this is all I do. Since God took that woman from me, I've got great price and neon lights and crazy arms to hold me tight. I've got all I need. I've got all I need just to let her leave.
Ray Price and Neon Lights. What the hell?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Lyrical content is on point, for sure.
Thank you.
You're
I've
right.
kind of made it a thing now. It seems almost thematic. I make a lot of Ray Price references, and I'm actually kind of proud about that. But yeah,
That's awesome.
thank you.
No, I like
Thank you.
too.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've played any of that really. My good friend Tim Bolo, or Timbo now. I'm sure you know him. He plays at the local, and that's been going and up and running lately. And he'll have some friends up and sing some. And he had me up last week for the first time I've been on a stage, in months. I'm like, what do I even remember how to play? So yeah, I'm off the cuff right now. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, I was in down in southern Tennessee back in February trapping coyotes. And on my way back, we stopped at Nashville, and I caught one of Timbo's shows there at the local.
Yeah.
He's definitely solid. You know what? I'll probably reach out to him and see if he wants to do an interview with us.
Man, yeah, do it. He just released his record yesterday. Oh man, it's awesome.
It is good. I've already listened to that one a couple times at work.
Yeah. He just put that out, and man, I'd say one of my best friends in this town. One of the first people I got to know. He's great. I'm really excited for his record. A lot of great people involved. I had Robbie Turner on that on pedal steel and producing it. That was a Waylon Jennings pedal steel player, and Aaron Goodrich. He's played with, a lot of young guys like Coulter Wall and Mickey Lane and such. And,
quite the
good
lineup.
group. Yeah, dude, he's got a killer record and good guy. Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I think one we always ask. So if you're sitting down writing something, what comes first for you? Is it melody or kind of the progression, or what happens first for you?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I feel like that's one that you hear a lot. I think it depends. It depends on the purpose of the song. I think sometimes I write a lot, and I've been doing it for a while, and so have plenty of people. But I think at this point, I like to think of the utility of that song and what it's supposed to do for me. So Roll the Dice, for example, is more of just like a catchier Western swing song, and it almost is supposed to display the playability of the band and the production value of it, and kind of be an earworm, So, but some songs are just supposed to cut deep, and so the lyrical content or the message is the most important thing in that case. And I think there's I don't want to throw any sort of philosophy out. Some people are all about meaning, and production comes second, and some people just want to hear some catchy earworm. I think there's a purpose for both of them. It depends on what you're writing for, and I think it's good to have some moderation. So sometimes I'll start with melody. Sometimes I'll start with the words. If there's a phrase or a thing on my mind and I want to write a song about, like that last one. I just like. It's hard to explain, but right now it was just like I was saying it. I didn't have to think about the melody or whatever. I just said the words, and there was melody behind it, and there was a song. It took nothing to write. Some things you can sit on for a week and try and put this mechanism together. So, yeah.
For sure. So the follow-up is, so I do some of my best thinking, maybe 4 or 5 Budweisers deep in the shower, and something will come to you or whatever. But you keep a log of things like Ray Price and Neon Lights, or is it just something you can?
Yeah, there's little taglines.
Man, that one I straight up just thought of. I don't know, man. I that sounds like ridiculous, but I swear I just kind of was trying to come up with that rhyme. I think the idea of finding when I was writing that song or thinking about it, I was I just thought of 2 things I attribute to a bar and something I attribute to country music. The 2 things that, all I need right there to get over, losing the love of your life. It's what if there's 2 things that could do it for you. In fact, that song, man, I was going through a breakup when I first moved here. And I had met Timbo, and I was at the local where he plays, and he's probably one of 5 people I knew in this town, and we were hanging out just about every night, really. And that song was about that place, and talking to guys like that who've been through similar stuff, just writing a country song, really more of the perspective of me talking to someone who might be in the same shoes in the same place. So, I mean, he's literally, I could imagine hearing him play Ray Price and me being in the local. So that's where that line came from, I guess.
Okay, one more, Justin. Sorry. But on that vibe, I mean, that's like a real Gary Stewart vibe too, right? She's acting single, she's drinking double and drinking things.
I love that. Yeah, it's always a great song. Yeah, that is good. Yeah, those play on words are a cool thing that country music can do. It's it'd be kind of cliche in other genres, but something about country music, you can just say it. You can just say something catchy like that, and it doesn't dilute the meaning of what you're saying. And I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's honest. Yeah.
Man. I feel like I could write something, but I couldn't play you anything.
That's
about as good as I can get. Yeah.
Well, man, and I mean, that's the beauty about songwriting. It's objective. There's no such thing as the best song. I mean, just the song that means the most to somebody. And what's to say? I get that all the time. I'll run in circles about stuff I write and just throw things out. I think this EP I'm putting out, I had at least 10 finished recorded songs. And I'm looking at just using about 4 of them. And at the end of the day, it's which ones do you like? Songwriting is it's like any form of art. It's subjective, I guess. It's not. I'm not the best player myself. I try to learn a little bit. Luckily, being around people, my girlfriend Mary Meyer is an excellent bluegrass and country player, and just about any instrument you could pick up. So being around people like that, I got some homework to do. But
Well, that helps for sure.
Yeah. Man.
What else, Garrett? Anything else we can pick his brain before we let him go?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got to do one more before you leave. Then you also have to tell people where to find you at online and
Right.
all that good stuff. Put the plugs in now.
I'd say go for that, but I want to know who, if you looked at a career path, who would you emulate, and then go ahead and give us the plugs and all that.
Man, I can't look at. That's an interesting question. What I do like about, I spent most of the music I listen to is older. I love listening to a lot of new contemporaries. like some of my good friends, like Jesse Daniels record that he just put out.
Yeah.
You know, all the like Charlie Crockett and all the stuff. He's always just putting music out left and right. And I love what's going on right now. Sierra Farrell is about to release her music, and I'm real proud to be at least associated and friends with some of these people and just doing music when in this day and age. But what I like about the old stuff, and I bet a lot of them can say the same, is that it was almost with some of those older country artists or just artists in general, like Marty Robbins, they were artists first, and the production laid the landscape of the flavor, more or less, like the country crooner style, like you were talking about, and or just an old Western song. I'd like to emulate some of those older guys like Marty Robbins that were able to put out a record that was unmistakably Marty Robbins, but it's straight Western. And the next one was almost like a you know, like a crooner record from that, you know, just the next one, or some old honky tonk record he'll do some Hank songs or something.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love to be able to, man, I want to experiment with, you know, Western swing, bluegrass, all those, but just have it be, you know, obviously Sterling, you know.
For sure.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, now you got me on another topic. Since you said all that, you don't have to say, but what do you think about like radio quality type country music, the pop country scene that's so huge right now? It's hard to break into that circle as an artist, for one. But what could you say about that? Like, is it good? Is it bad? Or is it?
Yeah.
Are we all getting polluted in our ear? Or what?
Yeah. Man, it's something you could talk about, and it's almost like walking on eggshells. But man, so I've been helping out and write music and hanging out with the guys at Demolition Music and working with them. They're down on Music Row, and they do it all. They do pop, they do pop country. They're a new young sort of publishing house out there that has been a great home for me. But I don't, you know, it's interesting to now be working down there and doing all this stuff. And I've never stepped foot in the pop country realm, and I've never been a big fan of it, at least in modern terms. I love some of the more like
Brooks and Dunn.
90s country and stuff.
Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah, or whatever. I mean, I don't really. That's one of those groups I didn't ever listen to too much, but I mean, like you know, Alan Jackson and all that stuff. But I think you know, there's good contemporary pop country music. That's you know, that's there are some. But it's not my world particularly. And I think it's a dying breed, and I just think they're holding on to the last pillars of their world that they can. And I always say that to people that maybe aren't, you know, you can kind of tell where someone's knowledge of today's music is by what mediums they listen to music on. Like if you listen to Spotify and you say you listen to country music, odds are you do know some of the new guys, like some of the younger, and they're calling them left to center, but I just call it country music. You know, or they call it Americana, but to me, it's just country music. You know, you may know Charlie or Coulter or somebody in that vein, Sturgill or whatever. But then you know, you can tell some listen to the radio, they might not know that. And I think it's this shifting world of now people are finding other mediums to find music, and that way it's less, I guess, monopolized by these industries. And being on Music Row, I've seen. You know, the big players like Sony and all these big publishing houses now have to pivot towards doing sync licensing because radio is not as, you know, cost effective for them anymore. So, and now they're pitching, you know, trying to make money off of songs that were generated for radio play, that are produced to a degree with drum tracks because, or even with like certain production, you know, softwares because they're radio friendly. And that's why it's hard for guys that do the real country thing to get on the radio or contemporary radio because it doesn't fit the production platform. And that's what it is, you know. So, but I think that those worlds are dying, and we're starting to see people like, just like we are with anything nowadays, like their own news sources are going to alternative news or something like that. It's the same deal with music. And,
yeah,
I'm hoping that there is in that world a way for the independent artists to be more versatile and not have to rely on those big dying, you know, corporations. But we'll see what happens, man.
If we think back, it may be coming back around. So if you think back to Willie Nelson, he was part of that machine, right? That Nashville sound. Went back to Texas, got his following up, got those Texas guys up. So it might be a whole nother round of that.
I think so. I always compare it to that too. You hear a lot of that, man, and it's really cool to be in Nashville. And I'm sure all the other cities are same effect is happening. But I'm speaking, for myself here in Nashville. It's cool to be here and see stuff that you look back at the history of this town, and it feels almost reminiscent of that. Like you hear about Waylon cutting records in basements and stuff, and you're walking into somewhere just on a Friday night or whatever, and you just stumble upon some amazing new artist doing something really cool. And you're like, man, I could see this being the thing they're going to talk about 20 years from now. So that's what's the coolest about this. And just, cool. Living down the street from people that are, amazing. Like Timbo's my neighbor. Sierra lives down the road. All of us live right here, man. I mean, everybody at least has their foot in this town. You can catch them at the grocery store or Home Depot or something. It's cool, man. You don't get that anywhere else. It's this little town, man. It's not that big.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, I agree with you on the whole scene dying off as far as the pop country. That your perspective on it's kind of reinforced that, because I thought it was too. And hearing it from your side of it, I think that's a true thing going on.
I hope that it. I guess we'll see, man. It looks like a lot to me from my perspective. You see a lot of LA influencing Nashville. They're kind of taking the mechanics of Nashville and using them towards pop music now. And I could see in the next 10 years, as the town grows a little bit, country there won't be a bit of twang left in it. It'll just be pop music. And there might be this mechanism for that world. But I think at the same time, you'll see people go the exact opposite direction and see people specialize in their own music. I mean, I moved to town originally to do licensing and get into film placement and stuff. That was something I was really passionate about, is helping this community that I'm a part of see, placement in today's culture, So that was something that, even just as much as being an artist, that I care about. So that's why now I'm working in the licensing stuff and trying to find a way to, get our friends into those places where they belong. Like, you're not going to hear some pop country song in a Western movie. You're going to want an actual timepiece or something that's fits the vibe, and there's a niche for that. I think it needs to be explored.
Sure. Or Ozark or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. Man, I worked with a company that did that music for Ozark. I didn't personally have my hand in it, but it was cool to see all that they did. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good show.
Yeah. Great. So where can the good people find you?
Oh, I'm heavy on Instagram. That's it. I have a Facebook page and all that, but that's like a social LinkedIn at this point in my eyes. But you can join me on Facebook if you want. But Instagram, yeah. I guess my parents are getting on Instagram now, so maybe that's becoming the normie thing now. You won't find me on TikTok, that's for sure.
Not yet.
Oh, don't quote me on that. Yeah.
What streaming platforms? Spotify, obviously, because we talked about that.
Yeah. Man, anywhere you can find music, it should be there. We're doing it. Spotify's been my biggest thing push, but yeah, we're on Amazon and iTunes awesome. And all that. Yeah.
Good deal. Well,
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate the time, man, and we're definitely looking forward to those new songs coming out.
Yeah.
Watching, and we'll share it on our end, on our Facebook, and all that good stuff too, to help you out, spread the word.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate what you guys are doing, and I'll definitely be staying tuned and watching all your shows, man. I love what you're up to.
Thanks. You want to send us out with one? You got another
Yeah.
one?
Do you mind if I play a cover of those? Is that all right?
Do whatever you want. We let Nick Shoulders did a cover, and we got a copyright claim, but I don't care.
Oh,
Go
I don't
fast.
think. Well, I hope that that doesn't happen.
Go for it.
All right. I'm gonna play you one and get out your hair. Thank you guys for having me. I can't stand to see a good man go. One never combs his hair or shaves his a man who leans on wine over love that's told by. Oh, it tears me up to see a grown man cry. So I never go around here. I can't stand to see me without you by my side. So I never go around here because I got a heartache. I can't stand to be where heartaches hang. It's so easy for the blues to get me down. To see a grown man cry is more than I can say. I can look into the eyes of half a man. So I never go around here. I can't stand this evening without you by my side. So I never go around here because I got a heartache. And it tears me up. A grown man cry. Thank you, guys.
You didn't have to go Keith Whitley on us. Tear me up all night.
That's how you send us off on a Saturday right there.
Yeah. Go have a drink.
Yeah, I know it. I'm going to.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us, man, and we'll be in touch. And everyone out there listening, make sure you spin that shit. Sterling Drake's the name. Spin his shit. All right.
Thank you. Spin my shit.
Thanks.
guys.
Later.
See ya.
See ya.